Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing fantastic today. Welcome to Amtrak Vacations presentation on one of my favorite destinations, the Pacific Northwest and the Canadian Rockies. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nick Bonnell, and I will be your host today. I have proudly been with Amtrak Vacations now for 4.5 years, and I'm beyond excited today to be here with you to share some of this information about the Canadian Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. Stay tuned for the end of this broadcast as we'll have some exclusive discounts for attendees, so you guys won't want to miss that, as well as one lucky person will win a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card at the end of the presentation today. Definitely something to look forward to, folks. Now, why Amtrak Vacations, might you ask? Well, there's several reasons. First, it's a bucket list experience. Last year, we surveyed our travelers from all around the world as to why they chose Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations, and the number one answer was that it was a bucket list trip. It is quite the experience to add to your list. Room to roam. With Amtrak, there's absolutely no need to be confined to your seat like in an airplane. You can freely move amongst the train. Why don't you go visit the cafe car, the dining car, or my personal favorite, the observation car, which I'll touch base on a little bit later. Less hassle. Please let us handle everything for you. We can package your rail, hotel, sightseeing, transfers, and meals all together. No need for you to spend hours, even days, piecing it all together on your own. Let us be your one-stop shop for your rail vacation. City-to-city service. With Amtrak, you typically go from downtown to downtown. There's absolutely no need at all for long airport transfers. We get you into the heart of where all the action is faster. Satisfy your hunger. Now this I'll go over a little bit more later in the presentation. I just wanted to remind everyone, however, that when you do upgrade to the sleeping accommodations on board Amtrak, your meals, yeah, they're automatically included, so you won't want to miss that. Lastly, flexibility. One of the best parts about our packages is that they are completely customizable to your liking. Please, let us plan the perfect rail vacation that you want. Now, I always like showing this map because it really amazes me at how extensive Amtrak service really is. In fact, Amtrak services 46 out of the 48 contingent states here in the U.S., with the exceptions of South Dakota and Wyoming. And did you know that last year Amtrak set its ridership record? Over 32.5 million people traveled with Amtrak last year, and it's expected to be even higher this year. Very, very exciting stuff. And one of the best parts is that you can actually choose from one of the over 500 Amtrak stations to start or end your rail vacation. You could even fly to your start destination or fly home from your final destination. It's completely up to you. And one of my favorite aspects about Amtrak is that there's no pesky middle seat. And I know some of you probably have been in the same situation. Amtrak works in rows of two, which allow you to be as comfortable as possible. There's absolutely no reason at all to be sandwiched. And another great aspect about Amtrak is that there's no long TSA lines at the stations. There's no need at all to wait 2 to 3 hours in a long line just to take your shoes and your belt off. With Amtrak, you can get right onto the train and start your journey. And another really terrific aspect about Amtrak is there's no need at all to spend hours sitting in traffic. I know a lot of you have been in this situation where you've been so excited to go on vacation and to get to your destination, but then boom, you have to sit in hours and hours and hours of what seems like endless traffic. With Amtrak, there's absolutely no need for that. We can get you to your destination as fast as possible. Now with our packages, we offer several different types of packages that can definitely cater to anyone's tastes. First, our independent rail journeys are some of our most popular packages that we offer. These trips range from 1 week to 10 days to even 16 days. These are our multi-city, multi-state packages, and they're incredibly comprehensive. Our family adventures, these are the perfect trips for the whole family. From grandparents to parents to children, there's something for everyone on these packages. Our rail and sail packages, which is one of my personal favorites, these combine the wonders of Amtrak and a cruise up to Alaska. Rail getaways, these are the perfect 2 to 3 night single city break trips. I always recommend these trips as the perfect for any long weekend. And lastly, our national parks. These trips are quite popular as we have partnerships with some of those hard-to-get lodges in some of the most popular national parks, places like Glacier Park, Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon. We hold allotments, so keep that in mind. We have the space for you all. And here's an exclusive discount that we're going to be offering for this presentation for today. So just as a heads up, if you upgrade to any of the sleeping accommodations on a rail package, you will save $100 per couple. And to take full advantage of this promotion, you'll have to book by April 14th. I can tell you this promotion is incredible, so you won't want to miss out on this because it's truly a really great deal. And how to go about booking an Amtrak vacation? You can give us a ring at 1-800-268-7252, and our amazing reservations team is over here standing by, waiting for your call. You can visit our website at amtrakvacations.com, or my personal recommendation, as always, go by and visit your local travel agent or even give them a call. They'll be more than happy to hear from you. And travel agents are always the best way to go. I go through travel agents for my own personal travel, so I always suggest that. Now, without further ado, we have a special guest today. He has been to these cities and these areas himself. He's beyond excited. He's been talking about it for doing this presentation for days for you all. Let me introduce my friend, Kyle Smith. Kyle, take it away, buddy.
Thank you, Nick, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining our webinar today on the Canadian Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. Like Nick mentioned a few seconds ago, I had the privilege of traveling to the Canadian Rockies last October with some of my coworkers, and it was one of the best vacations that I've ever had. The scenery up in Canada is just so beautiful, so natural, and being an outdoors guy who likes to travel, there's very few places in the world that can top and beat the scenery, and the Canadian Rockies is a place you definitely want to visit. Definitely a bucket list experience. I know it was for me. And I've traveled quite a bit. I've been all over the United States. I've been to Asia. I've been to the Middle East. But Canadian Rockies is a beautiful sight. So I am thrilled and honored to be able to share with you this presentation and my overall experiences. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through some of the packages that we're featuring today. And as we advance to the next slide here, we are going to talk about one of our most popular packages, which is our Seattle Ultimate Getaway package. Now, like Nick mentioned a few moments ago, we can get you to the start of any of our packages from no matter wherever you're located in the United States. So if you were to do a Canadian Rockies package going through Seattle and you're in Florida, New York City, or the South, we can easily get you to Seattle to start your journey on the train. That is no problem whatsoever. And Seattle is one of our top visited destinations, so I want to go ahead and share with you a little bit about that. So the Seattle Ultimate Getaway is a 4-day, 3-night hotel stay in the heart of Seattle. So when you arrive in Seattle, whether it's by plane or by train, all of our hotels are right in the downtown area. So if you're arriving on the train, let's say from Los Angeles, the train's going to roll into downtown. Your hotel is going to be within 1 to 3 miles of the Amtrak station. So we make it very easy for you to get to your hotel, to get settled in, to begin your Seattle experience. Now, while you're in Seattle, we're going to have some fun sightseeing included in our packages. The first of which is the Seattle City Pass, which will get you into Seattle's top attractions, such as the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden and Glass combo exhibit. Now, a Fast Pass is a great way to see a big city because not only does a Fast Pass include your admission to some of these attractions, it also acts as a Fast Pass, so you don't have to wait in line. Now, I used the Fast Pass myself when I was in Chicago last year, and I got to see the big city in only a few hours because I didn't have to wait in line, and because I had the City Pass. So good news there. You can see most of Seattle in just one day by utilizing the City Pass, which is why we include it in our package here. Now, we're also going to include some transportation for you on the multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour. So those hop-on, hop-offs run all over the downtown. They're like double-decker buses where you can sit up top with open space and an open roof so you can see the big buildings. It's a guided audio tour as you're going around the city, so you'll learn about the history of Seattle, and you'll see like the original Starbucks, go down to the fish market. It'll make a stop over at the Space Needle, which is probably the most iconic attraction in Seattle, as well as the Chihuly Garden and Glass Combo, which is right next door. So a hop-on, hop-off is definitely a great way to see the city, and you'll also have a day to yourself to do whatever it is you want to do, whether that's sleeping in or checking out some of the local restaurants. But our Ultimate Getaway packages are a great way to see Seattle. So recapping our Seattle Ultimate Getaway, 4 days, 3 nights. So now I'm going to go ahead and take you through one of our most popular attractions in the Pacific Northwest package. Now, this is a great package. 2 nights in San Francisco, 2 nights in Portland, and 2 nights in Seattle utilizing the Amtrak. So as we advance to the next slide, you will begin your journey with a 2-night stay in San Francisco, one of my favorite cities. And I'm from California, and San Francisco is a fun town that a lot of us Californians seem to go back to every year. It's a great town. So you'll be there in Seattle for 2 nights at one of our hotels, usually located in the Fisherman's Wharf area, which is the heart of the action. We include a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour for you, so you will see, the downtown area. You'll go down to the financial district, all through Fisherman's Wharf, out to the Golden Gate Bridge and more. Great way to see the city. And if you've ever been to San Francisco, it's not a city that you want to rent a car in because parking is a nightmare. There's always traffic. This is a great way to see San Francisco. So after your 2-night journey in San Francisco, you're going to get on the Amtrak for the overnight trip up to Portland, Oregon. And keep in mind, too, if you upgrade to a sleeping car on the Amtrak, whether that's a roomette or a bedroom, your meals are included. And we do have special discounts for those as well by joining this presentation. So when you arrive in Portland, you're going to stay 2 nights at one of our hotels in the downtown area. We include a hop-on, hop-off trolley tour of the great city of Portland, as well as a dinner cruise on the Willamette River, which I'm told is very popular. I've not been to Portland myself, but the feedback we get from our customers is that this is one of the top attractions in the city of Portland. So if you're going to be joining our packages, please do this dinner cruise and let us know what you think. Or if you're going on your own for any special occasion, that may be something you may want to look into. Now, after your 2-night adventure in Portland, you're going to head up into Seattle, overnight trip on Amtrak, and you will spend the next 2 nights at one of our great hotels, and you will have a guided city tour as well. So the picture here, you'll see the public market area, which is actually one of the most popular parts of Seattle, as well as all the famous attractions that I mentioned a few moments ago. So as we move on to the next slide here, just recapping our Pacific Northwest, 8 days, 7 nights, hotel accommodations with Amtrak included and all the sightseeing tours included. Well, now for the fun stuff. Let's talk about Canada. So we're going to go ahead and get into our Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria rail journey, one of my personal favorite packages. Now, before we get into it, just so you know, our Canadian packages, we have various packages that range anywhere from 5 to 15 days. So this is actually one of our shorter packages. It's only 7 days, 6 nights. So if you're not looking for a long, 13, 15-day journey, this may be a package worth paying attention to. Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria rail journey. So this package begins with a 2-night stay in Seattle. You'll have the hop-on, hop-off trolley tour, as well as admission to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden and Glass exhibit with the City Pass. And there's the Space Needle there in this picture. Now, after your two-night journey in Seattle, you're going to jump on the Amtrak Cascades train for the trip up to Vancouver, which is very scenic. It's only about 4 or 5 hours. It's a very short train trip, but it's very scenic as you cross the border heading into Vancouver. And when you arrive in Vancouver, you will spend the next 2 nights at one of our great hotels in the downtown area. Keep in mind, too, as you may recall, the hotels are all in the downtown area, so within 1 to 3 miles. It'll be real simple for you to get over to your hotel to begin your journey. We'll include a hop-on, hop-off city tour while in Vancouver, which will go all through the downtown area. It'll make a stop over at various different places. And one of my personal favorite activities is admission to the Capilano Suspension Bridge, which it's a little bit outside Vancouver. We do include the transportation out there. It's about 30 minutes outside the city. And it's up in the mountains, and the suspension bridge is about 300 feet up in the air, and it goes about a quarter a mile in length from peak to peak. And it's just surrounded by a beautiful river, wonderful, beautiful looking trees, and a lot of bald eagles. I'm from California, and I don't get to see a lot of bald eagles unless I go to the Sierras or, somewhere out in the forest, but Canada is well known for eagles, and as I was walking across the suspension bridge, I was noticing some of the eagles just standing on trees. So definitely bring your binoculars or a really good camera so you can snap those pictures. So after your 2-night stay in Vancouver, you're going to head over to Victoria, which is a beautiful city. Actually, it's an island, and we include the ferry transfers going out there. And while you're in Victoria for 2 nights, you're going to stay at one of our great hotels. We are going to include one of Victoria's most popular attractions, which is the afternoon tea at the Fairmont Impress, which is on this photo here. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to be royalty, like a Kennedy or Prince William or Kate, in London, then this is something you're going to want to do because you will be treated like royalty. It's a couple hours in length with wonderful pastries, wonderful tea, and definitely a Canadian experience to say the least. We will also include a hop-on, hop-off trolley tour in Victoria that will take you all around the island. You'll learn much about the history and see like the Bouchard Gardens, which we also include admission to while you're in Victoria. So we've had a lot of great feedback from customers on this package, and they definitely say Victoria is the highlight of their journey. And so as we advance to the next slide here, this is just recapping the Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria rail journeys, 7 days, 6 nights in Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria. Well, now we're going to get into one of our most popular cross-Canada packages, our Ultimate Canada and Rockies Westbound. Now, this package begins in Toronto, but I do want to mention that Amtrak does go into Toronto. So like I mentioned earlier, if you're in the West Coast or in the South or in the East, you can easily get into Toronto via Amtrak. That's not a problem at all. You would just let our vacation specialists know that that's what you would like, and they will make those reservations for you as part of your great package. So your journey in Toronto begins with a 2-night stay. We include a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour. You'll go all around Toronto learning about the great city. And our package also includes admission to the CN Tower, which is in the left side of your picture there that you're looking at. So you'll get to go up top of that, which provides wonderful views of Toronto. And a few fun facts about Toronto. It's home to the International Film Festival, which is hosted each June. So if you're a film festival guru, Toronto is definitely a place that you'll want to visit. And now while you're in Toronto, you're going to go out and see Niagara Falls. We include the transportation for you, so you're going to take a full-day trip out to Niagara Falls, see one of the 7 wonders of the world. And while you're visiting the falls, we will include a sightseeing city tour with the Niagara on the Lake tour. It's going to take you all around Niagara Falls. You're going to learn a lot about the great history as well, and that transportation is round trip out of Toronto. And so after your 2-night stay in Toronto, you're going to board the Via Rail for your 3-night journey across Canada en route to Jasper. Now, one of the most unique and most wonderful parts of an Amtrak vacation is the train ride itself. It is definitely part of the experience. Canada, like I said, is one of the most beautiful countries in all of the world, and you will spend the next few days seeing that on the Via Rail as you make your way west heading into Jasper. And when you arrive in Jasper, you're going to stay 3 nights at one of our hotels, and they're all within about a mile of the train station, so getting to a hotel is not going to be a problem for you. And while you're in town, you are going to be on a sightseeing tour, which you'll learn about the history of Jasper. We will include a sightseeing tour of the Icefields Parkway, so you'll get to see the Canadian Rockies, heading down into Lake Louise and seeing some of the most beautiful scenery in all of Canada. We include admission to the Jasper Skytram, as well as admission to the Glacier Skywalk and the Glacier Discovery Center, where you'll get to actually go on a real life glacier on those big ice trucks and get to spend a few hours out there. Definitely very scenic. So after your 3-night journey in Jasper, you are then going to head down into Banff for 1 night. Now, our package does include transportation down to Banff. That's about a 3.5-hour drive. But this is the reason why people do an Amtrak vacation, because of the scenery that you're going to see heading down into Banff. So the transfer is going to pick you up at your hotel, and you're going to begin your drive into Banff. Now, about every hour, the transfer is going to actually pull over so you guys can make a pit stop and capture some great photos. But you're also going to see a lot of wildlife. I was very amazed by all the deer and the elk that were just standing on the side of the road. And you'll make a stop at Lake Louise, which is probably one of the most picturesque images in all of Canada, as you make your way into Banff, and you'll stay 1 night at one of our great lodges down there. And now Banff is a wonderful town. It's a small mountain town. The hotels are right on the main street, so you can walk up and down and to see the city that way. But I would also encourage you to get to know the locals. They are very friendly, and they are excited to have travelers visit their city. They're more than helpful to give you restaurant recommendations or some of the famous attractions that are in the area, and that's definitely enhanced my experience when I was in Banff, just getting to know the people. So after your 1 night in Banff, you are then going to make your way down into Vancouver on the Via Rail for a 2-night stay. So that is an overnight trip on the Via Rail as you head down into Vancouver. You'll spend 2 nights at one of our hotels with a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, admission to the Capilano Suspension Bridge, as well as admission to the Vancouver Lookout, which is very similar to the CN Tower in Toronto. It's about 600 feet up, and there's like a revolving restaurant up there that'll give you a full 360-degree view of Vancouver. It's a great place to have lunch or dinner or just simply have a drink and capture those images while you're up there. So that is our Ultimate Canada and Rockies Westbound. It's a 14-day package with 8 nights, hotel accommodations, 4 nights on board the Via Rail, and all the activities included as well. So as we move to the next slide here, the question you may have is, how do I book one of these vacations? Well, like Nick said a few moments ago, please give us a call at 1-800-268-7252. Our vacation specialists are standing by. Just simply tell them you were on the webinar today and that you are interested in this package, and they will take it from there. Or you can go online to our website or go through your local travel agent. So we're going to go to one of our other most popular packages, which is our Canadian Rockies Discovery Eastbound with Seattle. This is a great package because it includes all these great cities that we've already talked about. So the package will begin with a 1-night stay in Seattle. We will include admission to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden and Glass exhibit. So what most people do on this package is they'll come into Seattle a day earlier, which is why we included a 1-night stay in Seattle. And if you're flying in, most of the flights arrive in the morning, so that leaves you the rest of the day to see the Space Needle and the Garden of Glass combo exhibit, but just simply to have some downtime to get rested from wherever you may be traveling from. So after your 1-night stay in Seattle, you're going to board the Via Rail for your journey to Vancouver. You will spend 3 nights in Vancouver with the Hop-on, Hop-off City Tour, as well as the Vancouver Lookout. And then after that, you're going to make a day trip out over to Victoria, where you'll have tea at the Fairmont Impress with the ferry transfers included. And then, so I'm sorry, I got lost here. And then after that, you're going to make your way up into Jasper. So you're going to take the overnight trip into Jasper on the Via Rail. You'll have a scenic sightseeing tour of the wonderful city of Jasper, as well as the Icefields Parkway excursion, including a ride on board an Ice Explorer vehicle. So you'll get to go out on a glacier and have some fun with that as well. So after your time in Jasper, you're going to make your way down through the Canadian Rockies. So here's Lake Louise. You'll definitely see this while you're en route. And then when you arrive in Banff, you will spend one night in the city at one of our hotels, leaving you plenty of downtime to do the things you want to do. And then the final part of your trip will end in Calgary with a one-night stay in a hotel. Now, most clients will then fly home from Calgary, but some decide to go ahead and make their way back up into Jasper and take the Via Rail, either heading east or back into Vancouver to catch a flight home. So if that's your wish, if you don't like to fly, simply inform our vacation specialist that's what you would like to do, and they will simply include that in your package. So that is an overview of our Canadian Rockies Discovery eastbound with Seattle. This is an 11-day adventure with Seattle, Vancouver, Victoria, Jasper, the Canadian Rockies, Banff, and Calgary. And so one of our newer packages for the Canadian Rockies is our Canadian Rockies Adventure Package. Now this trip begins in Vancouver. However, there are no hotel stays. So what some people will do, depending on where you're located, you may want to come in a day early. And we can arrange a one-night stay for you in Vancouver if you're coming in international or from the East Coast. And that way, the next day, you can get on board the Via Rail for your overnight journey to Jasper, where you will spend 3 nights in the city as we advance to the next slide here. And then while you're in Jasper, you'll have admission to the Jasper National Park. You'll also see the Columbia Icefields and Parkway with the Glacier Skywalk as well. And you will also get to see the Canadian Rockies down into Lake Louise as well. After that, you will then head on the Via Rail heading back to Vancouver, in which you can onboard the Amtrak for your journey home or simply catch a flight. It's totally up to you. So that is our Canadian Rockies adventure. 5 days, 4 nights, 2 nights on board the Via Rail with all the hotels and activities included as well. So that is our Canadian Rockies adventure package. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and turn the presentation back over to Nick Bunnell, who will talk to you guys about the onboard accommodations. But if you do have any questions, we will have some time in the presentation to get those answered. So just jot those down, put them in the question box, and we will do our best to answer those. So thank you guys, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Nick, back to you.
Wow, thank you, Kyle. That was excellent. In fact, I already got my hiking boots and my passport all ready to rock, so I'll see you up in the Canadian Rockies hopefully soon. But as Kyle mentioned throughout the presentation, and I brushed upon it earlier, onboard accommodations. With Amtrak, whenever you do upgrade to a sleeping accommodation, not only do you have a private room with beds, but your meals are also included. So I figure let's touch upon what these sleeping accommodations actually are. So first off, coach accommodations. Take what you know about an airplane seat and picture the complete opposite. A coach seat on Amtrak is usually about 2.5 times the size of a normal airplane seat. So you don't get this tiny little seat that goes back an inch. You get a very spacious seat with some really amazing, lots of leg room. And you also, the seats recline at a 45-degree angle. So instead of going back an inch where you can't really get comfortable, you can recline pretty far back. And there's also a leg rest as well, which is pretty neat. Now, almost all of the packages that do include one-way rail or round-trip rail do start off in coach seating. Your meals are not included in coach, nor do you have shower access. So if you did want your meals, as I mentioned before, you can, and shower access for that matter, you can upgrade to a sleeping accommodation. This right here is our roomette accommodation, which is the most popular type of sleeper on Amtrak. What it is during the day, it's 2 seats, as you can see right here, that face each other with a big picture window in between. and it has a fold-down table that goes in between where it's perfect for playing cards or going on your laptop. Now at nighttime, those two seats convert to the lower bunk, and above where those folks' head is, there's the top bunk, which pulls down. Now, you wouldn't be responsible for that. The car attendant is there for you to do that. Now, I just want to make note with the roomettes, there is no bathroom inside the room. That would be right down the hall. There's a toilet, sink, and shower right down the hall. It's very similar to, say, to going in your own house. And the neat thing is, it's a full-size bathroom that's down the hall, so it's nothing tiny. You can actually take a pretty comfortable shower on board the train. I can tell you firsthand, it's really neat. It's very, very interesting, so always recommend that. And with the roomettes, your meals are included. Keep that in mind. Now, if you did want to have an even more, better experience, you can always upgrade to the bedroom. The bedrooms are a little bit bigger than the roomettes. During the day, it's a sofa-style seating, like where the gentleman is sitting, and there's actually an extra chair where the lady is sitting. Now, at nighttime, the sofa seating converts to the lower bunk, and once again, above where that gentleman's head is the top bunk, and that pulls down. Now, the main difference between the bedrooms and the roomettes is that the bedrooms actually have a private toilet, sink, and shower in room. So keep that in mind. If you do want to have your own private facilities, this is the accommodation for you. And once again, meals are included. Excellent, excellent stuff. These are some of my favorite, pictures and things of on board the train. I do want to point out the picture on the top right, the people looking out the window. That I mentioned earlier is the observation car. The observation car is my absolute favorite spot on board Amtrak trains and Via Rail trains for that matter as well. I can tell you, last year I did the train from Chicago down to Los Angeles, which is a 2-night journey, and other than to eat, shower, and to sleep, I don't think I left the observation car because I didn't want to miss out on any of the tremendous scenery that the train passed through. I'll tell you a little fun story. When I was going on that train ride, you pass through New Mexico and southern Colorado and Arizona. There were points where it was wide open desert plains with mountains in the backgrounds, plateaus. There was points I thought John Wayne was going to ride alongside the train because I felt like I was in an old Western. It was really, really something. So I always recommend the train's the best way to see the scenery, and sitting in the observation car just takes it to the whole next level. You won't want to miss it. And another thing you won't want to miss either is the dining on board the train. I know we've been hinting at it all presentation and talking about if you upgrade to the sleepers, they're included. Well, they are. And here we'll talk about the dining accommodations. So first off, you'd be absolutely amazed at what the onboard chef can make in the galley or the kitchen on board the train. It's really something because all the meals are actually freshly prepared. It's not like an airplane where you get this little tinfoil meal. No. With Amtrak, they're freshly prepared. And I'm talking about for breakfast, I'm talking omelets, waffles, pancakes, scones, muffins. For lunch, I'm talking burgers, grilled chicken salads, pasta dishes. For dinner, I'm talking fish, chicken dishes, or Amtrak's signature dish, the Amtrak signature steak, which I can tell you firsthand, I ate it 2 nights in a row. It was awesome. So you don't want to miss that. And it's quite the experience dining on board the train as well, as it's a restaurant on wheels. You get the white tablecloth service. You get a server that comes and takes your order. You actually get to order off a menu. And one thing I do want to point out about the menus on board Amtrak, they're exclusive for whatever route that you're on. They each have a different menu. Take, for instance, the route that I went on, because it passed through, Arizona and New Mexico. It actually, all the dishes had kind of a Southwest flair to it. Whereas if you're going on the Empire Builder in the north through the Pacific Northwest, you might even get yourself a salmon dish. And they're constantly changing, so keep that in mind. And the food is great. And you won't want to miss the dessert. It's really to die for. So excellent, excellent stuff right there. Now, if you're curious to see how to see all the different packages that we offer, because honestly, Kyle just barely scraped the surface of some of our top packages in the Pacific Northwest and in Canada and the Canadian Rockies, you can visit our website at amtrakvacations.com. Hover over the Destinations tab on the top left, and from there you can select all of the destinations and see all of the amazing, amazing packages that we have to offer to all of you. And like I mentioned earlier, they're completely customizable. So if you see something on there but you want to tweak it a bit, keep that in mind. We can do it for you. Now, once you find the right package in mind, you can give us a visit at our website at amtrakvacations.com. You can give us a ring at 1-800-268-7252, and our top-notch reservations team will be more than happy to assist you with it. Or, what I always recommend, visit your local travel agent. They're fantastic. That's what they're there for, and they would be more than happy to assist you planning your dream Canadian Rockies trip. Now, if you do qualify and are looking for some discounts, Amtrak does offer some everyday ones. First off, if you're a AAA member or a CAA member, you actually save 10% off the rail portion of your package just by using your AAA or CAA card. As well as if you're traveling with any children between the ages of 2 and 12, they actually receive a 50% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. Our senior travelers age 62 and over receive a 15% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. And lastly, active duty military personnel, their spouses, and also their dependents receive a 10% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak vacation, just as a thank you for your service. And once again, here's that exclusive attendee discount that I showed earlier and mentioned earlier. Once again, if you upgrade to any of the sleeping accommodations on board the train, on our packages, you save $100 per couple. And as you know, meals are included whenever you upgrade. You get shower access. It's a win-win for everyone, and you definitely won't want to miss out on this. Just book by April 14th to take full advantage. Now, don't forget to download the handout over here. This will has some of the packages that Kyle highlighted today, and it has some of the information on it. As well, this is the time, if you have any questions at all, feel free to input it into the questions box, and me and Kyle will be more than happy to provide an answer for you. We'll go back and forth and answer all the different questions that you all may have. So once again, before we answer questions, I just want to take this time to thank all of you for joining. I hope you all learned something about the Canadian Rockies and about the Pacific Northwest. I know I did. It's a wonderful, wonderful area. Like I said, I have my passport waiting offhand right now. So, but now is the best time. It's my favorite part of the presentation because this is where we pick a $100 winner for our Amtrak Vacations gift card. And today's winner of the $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card is Alex Christopher. Congratulations, Alex. Awesome job. We hope to see you up in the Pacific Northwest and the Canadian Rockies real soon. So now is the time. If you all have questions, Kyle, let's answer these. So first off, I have a question here from Chuck asking about single supplement. Amtrak Vacations does do a single supplement. It's based upon the specific package and the dates of the trip you're looking at. It's always best to give us a ring at our 1-800-268-7252 number or visit your local travel agent. As well as I do see here we have another question from Alex asking about if the Empire Builder leaves from Chicago. Yes, Alex, absolutely. The Empire Builder starts in Chicago and ends in Seattle, or vice versa, starts at Seattle and ends in Chicago. It's completely up to you. I do see here a question from Greg asking if there's vegetarian options on board the train. Yes, Greg, there absolutely is. In fact, there's two diets that Amtrak fully caters to 100%, and that's vegetarian diets as well as kosher diets. Now, if you do have food allergies, you can absolutely let your server know. They'll be more than happy to try to absolutely cater to you. People have food allergies, and it's understandable. It's like going to a restaurant in your local city. Just let the server know, and they'll be able to help you out. I have a question here from Susan. If you can apply the senior discount and the AAA discount, you can pick one of the two. If you are over 62, I always recommend going with the senior discount, as it's a little bit more. It's 15% as opposed to 10% discount. So keep that in mind. The only thing is they cannot be combined. You can only pick one of the two. I have a question here from Mary asking about baggage on board the train. That's a fantastic question. We get this all the time. So baggage, take what you know about an airline and kind of picture the complete opposite. With Amtrak, you're allowed 2 pieces of check-in luggage up to 50 pounds each, as well as 2 pieces of carry-on luggage up to 50 pounds each. It's really fantastic. It's very liberal, and you're also actually allowed a personal item as well. So figure like a backpack, a purse, laptop bag, briefcase, any of those things fly. And the best part is say if it's you are doing check-in luggage, it's very similar to the airline where you check it in point A, and you don't see it till your final destination. Now, carry-on luggage you will be responsible for. However, there's luggage racks at the end of each cart, as well as overhead storage as well. And for the roomettes, you are in the bedrooms, there is enough space that you could bring a small bag or two. I have a question here from Janet asking if there's ADA handicap accessible rooms and assistance. Absolutely. If you are traveling in a wheelchair, carrying a walker, or traveling with a cane, Amtrak actually has handicap accessible coach seating as well as handicap accessible rooms. The rooms are great because they are a little bit bigger, so if you are traveling in a wheelchair or a mobility aid, you can bring it into the room. There's a private in-room toilet and sink, and the shower is actually located just right outside the door. Now, all the hotels we work with as well are ADA approved, as well as the sightseeing tours. Most of the sightseeing tours, they can absolutely cater to you guys if you do need that aid. Now, Amtrak does offer assistance as well. It's called the Red Cap service. So if you are traveling with if you are traveling with mobility aid and you need assistance getting through the station or getting assistance getting on and off the train or with your luggage, Amtrak's Red Cap service is of no additional charge, and they will be more than happy to help you out with any way that they can. I have another question here from another Janet asking if passengers, how many people can be in a roomette or a bedroom. So with the roomettes, 2 adults. There is no more, no less. Amtrak requires, can only allow 2 adults. The bedrooms are for 2 as well. However, if you are traveling with a small child, I'm talking maybe under the age of 10, Amtrak will often make exceptions to where this child can be in the bedroom with the parents. Any other questions for us today, guys? You've had some really amazing questions from all of you. This is excellent. Well, it looks like to me that we are out of questions for today. Actually, I do see one right here. It's a question from Liz asking about passports for U.S. citizens going across the border. Absolutely. Once you get to the border in between U.S. and Canada, the train will stop so they can check passports and just make sure that everything is fine, make sure everyone's passport's valid. They do go through, customs, but it's a very seamless process because you are on board the train. They'll be able to handle it for you, and they handle it in a very timely process. It's actually quite quick. It's much quicker than if you were going through by automobile. I do have a question here from Steven asking about the senior rate for the USA Rail Pass. Unfortunately, with Amtrak Vacations, we don't handle the USA Rail Pass, so I unfortunately do not really have an answer for that because we don't handle it. That you would want to go to Amtrak directly for. Susan, absolutely. Passport cards are accepted. If you have an enhanced driver's license or passport card from a state that offers them, by all means, you can do that. I have a question here from Len asking about couples traveling with a 15-year-old. What accommodations? With that, I would always recommend maybe 2 roomettes and try to get them across the hall from each other. Reason being, if you do the 2 roomettes, you guys are close enough to where you'll be able to converse with each other without having to yell. But also, you'll get views on both sides of the train, and the cost will actually be at a really, really good price. I have a question here from Isabella asking if you can use a driver's license to travel or if you have to get a passport. You do need a passport. However, if you are from a border state or a state that does offer the enhanced driver's license or a passport card, you can absolutely use those. I have a question here from Mike asking if there's a lot of walking involved. On some of the sightseeing tours there are, but it's usually optional. So I mean, if you do if you do want to not have to walk too much or if you're not too mobile, by all means, you can just let your your tour guide know, and they'll absolutely be able to make exceptions for you as well. Because I mean, some of the tours and a lot of the tours also do like private, as well as like additional hiking or optional hiking things as well. You don't have to do those as well. It's optional. So excellent questions, guys. I have a question here from Susan as well, asking on the glacier tour from Cleveland if most of the travel is at night. Actually, there is some travel at night, but the majority of it is during the day. So you'll actually be able to see a lot of that amazing scenery that Amtrak has to offer as it passes through, the lakes region of Minnesota, passes through the prairies of North Dakota, in through the mountainous rocky terrain of Montana. Any other questions for us today? These are some amazing questions. These are some of the best questions I've had in a really long time. I really appreciate it, guys. This is excellent. All right, so it looks like to me that we are officially out of questions for right now. I just want to once again take the time and thank every single one of you for coming to this presentation today and watching. It's been a pleasure. I know I've learned a lot. I hope you guys have learned. You guys have been fantastic, excellent questions, and I hope to see all of you on Amtrak and in the Pacific Northwest and the Canadian Rockies. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk soon. Take care, everyone.